All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this. Would you like to optimize your success out in the field? Metal detecting and gold prospecting? One word: Coil Tech. They've been manufacturing high-performance aftermarket coils for years now for popular models such as the E-Track, the Sovereign, the Explorer series, the GPX series, and our favorite, the 10x5 for the CTX 3030. Great target separation in trashy areas, still maintaining excellent depth for the coil size. Coil Tech is optimizing discovery, your potential for success in the field. You can check them out at coiltechmanufacturing.com.au.
All right, we're back. We're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And when I look into the chat, I see that Barb's in the house, Jesse, Chuck, Bill, Bandito. Wow. Man, you guys are just piling in again, just like the last few shows. Although I am a bit surprised. Somehow or another, Jesse beat everyone into the chat. How does that happen? Where is HomeFinder? I'm not sure. Hopefully everything is going well and he makes it in. Who knows what happened? I see that Suki's in the house as well. And also for those listening, obviously we see that our favorite detector dealer, Chuck Smalley, is in the house. Sunday, he was unable to make it. Like I said on the show Sunday, he's a man of many hats. He stays very busy, and they just happened to drop tones. He was tied up for a while, and by the time he was free again, it was too late for him to call in. But he did mention that he may try to call in tonight, and if for some reason he's unable to, then, hey, there's always another show and we can try again Sunday or something like that. Definitely. Always a pleasure to hear from Chuck, and we look forward to hearing the information that he has to share. For those that are tuning in, though, if you've not dropped into us before or in the past, however you want to word it, obviously we're here Wednesdays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, always 8 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us here on Spreaker for your best audio. You can follow us through the other many wonderful distribution services out there that seem to utilize the show. And, you can look forward to seeing posts on the Beyond Sight and Sound page, Beyond Sight and Sound group, the Ohio Relic Hunter group, the World of Tokens group, Digging in PA, the Dirt Digging PA group, actually. I see that Mike Boyles is in the house as well, so welcome to him. Obviously, though, I see Barb. Good to see. And I think, yes. Well, since Homefinder is not in the chat, Barb is dropping the call-in number. Also, Mike's daughter is still in the hospital, and we are certainly wishing her well wishes and a speedy recovery and all of that. Hopefully, she is able to return home soon. So I think with that in mind, that probably covers about everything, but what everybody really come to hear about, I think, until Chuck is able to call in, would be tokens and the world of token groups and all of that stuff. It's a great group, and if Chuck is able to call in, we'll stray away from the topic of tokens at hand for the time being, because I know that Gordon has a few questions for Chuck as well. So, I guess until then, we should get moving right along with it and get our guest for the evening in here. How is it going, Gordon?
How's it going, everybody?
Awesome. Well, it looks like everyone's having a blast in the chat so far. I'm not sure if you're in the chat or not there, Gordon, to see them, but they're definitely having a good time.
I see Chuck is in tonight.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is in the chat.
All right.
And hopefully, he'll make a few minutes and call in for us or something like that. We'll see. But it's always good to see him in the chat. Obviously, Sunday, we made sure to leave the title and everything as it was so that people who listen to the archive can track down the Shooters and Prospectors Facebook link there in the description, and hopefully they go check it out and give Chuck a call, maybe even give him an order. That's always a nice thing. It's good to see where people are hearing about you at sometimes. But tonight, people are going to be hearing about you and your actually successful group here lately. You've been taking on quite a few members.
Yeah, I've been doing the token page for a while and collecting for many years. But I kind of kept to myself, only stayed with just select people that I knew. But, I mean, after a while, you get kind of tired of looking at your own stuff and you want to see what other people have. And,
right.
On the other forums, I see some people shy away from posting their tokens because it's not the Fuego and everything else everyone is looking for, the Real or whatever. And I figured, I got tons of tokens. I'll make a page dedicated to tokens and start adding people, give them a chance to have kind of like their limelight, their day in the sun in regards to tokens.
Right, kind of a bit more of a specialized group.
But yeah, more specialized. I mean, if someone does have something fancy, and they want to share it, I'm not going to tell them, hey, you can't post it here. It's just something I want to do about tokens, but if something else came across and you wanted to share it along with, I'm fine with it too.
Right.
Go ahead.
How long have you been actually collecting tokens?
Oh, well, this is kind of weird. Way before metal detecting and everything, when I first came here to the United States, I came in 1982, and my dad gave me some weedy pennies and a buffalo nickel, and asked me if I had ever seen any of these, which I didn't because I grew up in the Philippines. I did live in North Dakota when I was 2, but I didn't mess with money or anything. So it started out originally as U.S. coins. I really didn't care about anything. My dad, the only thing he told me was go collect anything below your birth date of 1974. So originally, that's all I cared about was nickels under 1974 and pennies under 1974. And then he's like, well, technically for the pennies, 1959 and below is what you want, and 38 whatever for the nickels. So that's all I cared about. Now, when I lived on the military base, I lived across the street from a baseball field, and the bleachers, the benches and stuff, they were just on dirt. There was no concrete slab or nothing. So after the baseball games, I'd go under the bleachers and shuffle my feet around, and I had a little whisk broom, and I was looking for coins, but I kept on coming up with these like bubblegum tokens and baseball hat pins and stuff like that. So I think since 1982, I guess it's crossed between tokens and coins.
Right.
What it ended up being.
And even a little bit of treasure hunting in a sense. When did you get your first machine?
Well, I had several. My first real machine was probably from 2014, 2015 that I won off a Raz, the AT Pro. Prior to that, I had the Ace 350 for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then prior to that, I had I want to say it was a Radio Shack version, whatever, of a bounty hunter that I got at a pawn shop. And just tooled around with, I wasn't full-time into it, more like just in my yard, friends' yard, siblings' yards, just seeing what I can come up with.
Right.
And now, growing up here in Florida, everything to me has always been about pirates. We even have a parade every year for the Gasparilla Festival. And I used to always say I was going to chase this guy, Jose Gaspar's treasure. Now, with that bounty hunter, or what I want to say it was a bounty hunter, it was just messed up. The needle on the top didn't work, anything. I was just going by straight sound, which means I dug everything. If it made a beep, I was digging it. So in my own yard, the first thing I've ever pulled up with a detector, period, was the 1950s Gasparilla coin. It was a parade token. And I used to say, and from there, I was like, what are the odds? This is kind of like my idol, treasure hunting / whatever idol. And the first coin or anything I find, it was the Jose Gaspar coin. So from there, I knew I had to purchase a machine. So that's when I got that Ace 350. I want to say about 2013, 2014. So from then to 2015, end of 2015 or beginning, and I've been sitting on the sideline for about 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, almost with a back injury.
Right, that's very unfortunate. But it sounds like you're trying to get out when you can.
Yeah, on any day I feel good, I'll go out. Now, there's been times where I can't even stand more than 5-10 minutes, but I'll see something that someone suggests or whatever, like a setting or whatever. So I'll just go to my backyard and throw coins in the yard, and if I find it, I find it. If I can't bend down to pick it up, find it again another day. But I've had my sister, like I got AT Max that was sent to me. So with the wireless headset, I've been actually able to sit down and have my sister do some things, and then I'll just listen for the tones, and she'll help me out on the VDI and tell me what's going on. But this past week, I made a crutch, kind of like a crutch cane out of some PVC pipe. So I'm gonna go out to the water again myself and just to see. I don't know how long I can stand detecting, but I need to see for myself what's going on with it.
Well, sometimes, though, and believe me, I know from experience myself, sometimes you just gotta get that fix, even if you can only get out for a few minutes.
Yeah. I kind of like what Brandon said last week, where you can't really go by other people's stuff, what other people say, because, every environment's different.
Absolutely.
What I do is I'll kind of base myself off of that, and then adjust to it. But sometimes I'm sitting around in the house getting crazy because I couldn't figure out a way to adjust to it.
Right.
And I have the itch to get out and this and that. So that's kind of where actually my being injured is kind of what stepped up my my token collecting. I started to frequent more coin shops around town, getting to know people, and flea markets and stuff like that. Anytime I just a chance to get out the house type gimmick, I do it, but it was always in search of coins or tokens.
Right. Well, and probably a good physical therapy in a sense, gets you on your feet a little bit, plus gets you out into the air a little bit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Matter of fact, my excitement for today came from Barbara. I went to the mailbox, and she sent me some tokens, which she said she was going to do. But as I'm opening the package, I saw gold. I thought she sent me some gold bars. It ended up being a freaking cardboard box with the tokens in it, but the gold foil kind of has that gold nugget look to it. I was jumping through it. But,
well,
thank you, Barbara, for that.
That's the pirate in her. She's always got to try to do something slick like that.
Oh, yeah, she got me good on that one.
But that
literally, the way the box has that kind of that rugged texture, that nugget look.
Right. Yeah. But that's still very nice of her to send the tokens like that. Sometimes people don't necessarily give it much thought to realize how much even a small gesture like that can mean to someone.
Oh, yeah. Now, with bars, actually, when I first started, because I had watched the YouTube videos from people for a long time, I just didn't subscribe or I didn't comment or anything. Kind of just kept to myself and watched things. But when I had joined Barbara's group a long time ago, she had a kind of like a contest where you take pictures around the house of certain things. And the first one that find completed, like a scavenger.
Oh, okay.
Winning. Yeah, and I want to say she sent me a nice little round ball, nice little glass bottle, and a backpack, and some dirt pirate stickers. So that was cool.
Those dirt pirate stickers are nice.
Yeah, she was actually my first person to ever send me anything from the metal detecting community.
Oh, wow. See what you started, Barb. Nice. Well, and then you got your really big surprise here recently when some anonymous people mailed you an AT Max.
Yeah, I checked all around. I have a friend that works at UPS. I looked, if I give you the tracking number, could it be tracked down to the person, stored, or whatever? And you said that I guess with UPS you have the ability to keep that hidden. So that has totally been 100% anonymous, and I just thank whoever did it.
Right, 100% anonymous, but 100% appreciated.
Oh yeah. So now, what my plan is, I have a court date November 16th. It's supposed to be my final one. To hear about, went to my fifth and final court-ordered doctor, and he agreed I needed surgery, and that wasn't pre-existing. So with getting the surgery and hopefully a little bit of settlement, I just want to pay it forward as soon as possible.
Oh, very nice. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure someone there will love it.
Right. Well, and surgery can be a little tough, but hopefully that gets you back in ship shape.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think once I get going, I'm not going to shy away from the tokens, though. The tokens have actually been, I'll still be out there, get back out there and metal detect. What I find is what I find. I'm happy with everything I find. But the tokens, even if it's more stays within the purchasing realm, that'll always be a passion for me. The variety is so endless. I don't think that part of me will ever fade away or die out.
I see. Well, it sounds like so far the group has been. How many members are you up to now with the group?
Oh my gosh! Last I checked was like 216, 217. I think I got like 2 or 3 this morning, so it might be about 217, 218, I think.
Nice. Well, it's certainly nice to see it moving along the way that it has been. And I guess a lot of people may not realize it, but you also like to dabble a little bit in graphics.
Yeah, actually, that's how I started out in the metal detecting communities, because I didn't have that to offer, like show-wise, of my finds. But I used to do a lot of computer graphics, so I started making first it started off with jokes and stuff, and then I started making like logos and, hey, can you make a logo for my club? So I was making logos, and people know I don't charge anybody. I don't believe in charging people for logos. And it started from there, and so probably in the metal detecting world, most people actually knew me from graphic arts versus actual detecting. And then that's the other reason why I got back in the tokens, to show people I'm more than just them few little finds and store-bought coins. I have tokens as well.
Right. And I think, if I remember right, that was... what, a little over a year ago now, maybe you started the token page?
Yeah, a little over a year ago, the token page. Prior to that, I was just goofing around. Like, I think I made a picture of you and Swansea and Leighton one time.
Yes, you did. Those were hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I put you guys in the trailer park, put you guys at Disney World, and, and that was kind of my introduction of getting myself out there to people. It's just by, I guess, humor. I'm more of into humor than politics and he said, she said, and stuff like that. I love history as far as coins, tokens, and the camaraderie of the metal detecting group without all the favoritisms and branding and all that stuff.
Right. Well, and that's a good way to be, too, definitely, because at the end of the day, at the end of it all, it doesn't matter what machine you're swinging or what logo you're wearing, we're still diggers looking for history.
Right, exactly. Now, for me, a lot of it has become, within the U.S. coin market, we like, I pretty much almost have them all, minus your 20-cent piece, your 1877 Indians, this and that. But it gets to the point where there's not much really researching left to do. There's research as far as where you're going to go find and hunt, and location, dated locations. But within the find itself, it's readily accessible. Pretty much find everything down to the die maker and everything like that. Now, when it comes to tokens, it adds that extra little sense of research. You have to put in, to me, it seems like you have to put in a little bit more to find it.
Right, I can certainly see what you're saying there, and we've got a caller, Gordon. Go ahead, caller. You're on with myself and Gordon from World of Tokens.
Hi, this is Fred from New Jersey.
Hey, Fred.
I'm driving.
Hey, Fred.
Can you hear me okay? I'm driving, so...
Yeah.
You sound...
Okay, I just wanted to tell Gordon I really like his token site, and I've put a couple posts on there for that, because as metal detectors, we're always coming upon tokens of some type or another.
That's right.
And, it seems like you get something, and, I've seen some really interesting ones. I think there was a picture, somebody found one that looked like an old quarter or something. It had like an really old eagle on it or something that they found in a Civil War camp. Some kind of token. I forget who posted that, but there's such a wide variety of them. So I think it's a really interesting hobby that you have as an adjunct to the whole metal collecting thing. So,
thank you.
It was interesting to hear how you got started, and I wish you the best of luck with that. And everything's good down in Florida after the hurricane?
Yeah, that was a big scare for me. Being handicapped, I'd say temporarily handicapped, I was uncertain of how I was going to be able to secure my house And then I end up getting my finger half chopped off. So I was trying to do that with force winds, loading stuff by myself, trying to bolt things down. It was a scare.
It's very stressful.
Yeah,
Right.
I was originally going to stay, but I'm kind of like a position almost like a peninsula. I have water like 5 minutes to the left of me, water 7 minutes to the right of me. And then below me at MacDill Air Force Base, the backside of that is water. So I live in what they call the Zone A flood that they said is going to be 5 to 10 feet of water. So at that point, my brother's like, your 10 little sandbags ain't going to do nothing for you, and how are you going to swim with a bad back? So I ended up going to Orlando to my sister's just to see it on TV that it was coming our way again. I was like, oh, my gosh. But when I got back here to Tampa, I had one palm frond down in my yard. Now, my neighbors, their oak trees took some damage and their houses took damage. But physically, my property, one palm frond was it.
Well, I did notice you posted a picture of your house on Facebook, and I did notice that you have an old antique Volkswagen.
Yeah, 1968 Volkswagen.
Yeah, I saw that. That survived, but that would have floated away.
Yeah, that thing would have sitting bubble, floating bubble.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's one of my little side hobbies. I have a '67 Volkswagen, so we share a common thread in that case.
Nice.
I've always had a Volkswagen, so that's my little baby. But I'm glad that didn't get injured with the flood, and your house was fine. And I wish you the best with your site, and I'll continue to look at it. I'm a member, and I'll try to contribute. I found an interesting presidential token from 1948 when I was metal detecting one day.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's aluminum, but you can still read it. And I'll have to send you a picture of that. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Yeah, definitely. Presidents are one of my biggest things. There's so many different branch-offs. Presidential coin facts, double D presidential commemorative sets, and so the Sunoco and the Shell presidents, Crackerjack presidents. I love presidents. I love history. So I'd love to see it. Now, within my coin thing, of my tokens, I kind of leave it up to the individual of what they define as a token. Some people have medals, medallions, whatever. Those are, to me, I consider tokens. Challenge coins, to me, I consider tokens. Anything that's round or flat and hold, like it gets worn as a charm, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you saw that picture of the one I found that was shot. It was a astrological cancer token.
I'm amazed how that is still sitting in there.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the guy shot it, and he probably couldn't find it, And I found it so many years later with the metal detector. So I thought that was pretty cool.
When I was looking at that coin, I'm thinking in my head, was that like in the cowboy movies, whatever, where it's flipped in the air and someone shoots it in the air, or was it sat up on a fence post and someone shot at it?
Yeah, that's how I imagined it. It was on a farm. It was an old farm, and somebody probably set it up and said, "I bet you I can hit that thing," and they hit it, and they probably knocked it so far they couldn't find it. And there it was. So many years later, I found it. So
very good possibility.
That's a very interesting conversation piece, to say the least, on that.
Yeah, that one is a good conversation starter. But I'll keep finding them, and I'll post them when I do. And I wish you the best of luck with that. And gosh, I'm still waiting for final approval of my extracurricular activity this weekend. So I will keep you posted.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes, and best of luck with it.
Yeah, I don't want to make any promises, because it's a delicate terrain I'm treading on here.
I bet it is.
It's right around Yeah, it's right around her birthday tomorrow. Her birthday's tomorrow, so
yes. Which, by the
going
way,
to New York City for the day.
By the way, make sure and tell her happy birthday.
Oh, I will. Yeah. She would be glad to hear that. I'll tell her you said so, and I'll get off. I'll let somebody else get on, but I just want to wish Gordon the best with his site, and he's got a real passion for this aspect of the hobby, and seems to have limitless possibilities, and best of luck with the whole thing.
All right.
Thank you,
thanks for the call, Fred.
All right, and I hope Chuck Smalley calls in, too, so you can get an update on his activities with the Equinox and everything, but I'll keep listening.
All right.
Good
Drive,
you guys.
drive safe.
All right, good. You Gordon, I'll see you.
All right,
Bye. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Well, and, Fred did have a good point there. You are very, very enthusiastic and energetic about tokens, which is great to see.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, it's just one of them ones where when you look at U.S. coins, you pretty much seen them all. Now you're just looking for condition, quality, if it has a full liberty, all this and that. But tokens is so endless. The mint makers, what they're made for. It could be a election medal. It could be a Maverick counterstamp coin. And then even within the Maverick, like let's say the Maverick, those are counterstamp coins. And there's people just look at it and assume, okay, it's a stamp coin, but there's the prepared punches. That's usually your two initials and stuff like that. And that would be like with the U.S. coins for the colonials, the larger than the half cent. Then you have what the release punches. A lot of times they're just shapes. It could be a clover. It could be an initial and stuff like that. But then the hard one was for the U.S. was the they're called U.S. Oriented punches, and they're based on foreign coins, and a lot of it came from the Spanish American silver. But that was pre 1834, so a lot of times when you look on the internet or whatever and you see a coin that's a counterstamp silver, but it's above 1834, a lot of times it's fake. And they didn't even realize that until 1991 when they kind of put all the math and stuff together on that and how they figured it out to where it'd be like, let's say in 1850, or, you can have, in 1850, it'd be easier to find a 1780 Spanish 2 real versus a 1828 American quarter. That's how scarce American silver became. So a lot of the counterstamps that were silver, if it was above 1834, you might want to check to make sure it's even real silver.
Ah, very interesting. Plus, like you said, the tokens are so vast and different with the designs, the shapes, the metal content.
Oh, yeah. Now, even, I do it to collect it. I'm going to pass it down to my grandson. I really don't look at the money value of it, except for things that I want, like the first token in the U.S. They think it's from like Gloucester, Virginia, and it was based off of basically a 1714 brass shilling. But if you can find it on the internet, it starts at 90,000.
Whoo!
Yeah, so that's a kind of a dream,
right?
Unless you actually find it, but so yeah, just for those reasons. Now, I would say, like sometimes I go to a lot of coin shops, and they'll have what they have, like the little bucket of junk coins,
right? The picker buckets,
and the picker buckets, and there's tokens mixed in with a lot of them. And believe it or not, nowadays it seems like a lot of coin shops don't really have a passion or knowledge for a lot of the coins that come through. Nowadays it seems like they're more into the silver and gold, buy and sell, resell for smelt and whatnot.
Right.
So believe it or not, if you guys, most countries kind of did like America, where 1964 and below were silver, this, and that. So when you go to a lot of those picker buckets, you just grab a handful. A lot of times it's $5 for $1 or whatever. You take it home and you research it, and you'll be surprised at how much silver, like the Filipino coins, they're everywhere. And a lot of those little baby-looking dimes are silver. Like 1944, 1945, those are the D's, and that's like silver. So
nice.
You're getting. Even the tokens. Like I've gotten a token in one of those bins where it's mixed with the foreign coins, $5 for $1. So I got it, and when I got home to research it, and then a lot of times the research will end up throwing you back into eBay, and you'll see, and on eBay, like the lowest one you can find is $30, $40 for resale. Well, you just bought it for, a quarter, basically.
Nice.
Less than a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, 20 cents. Because I guess a lot of people, when they see it, they glance at it real quick or something and go, oh, well, that's not an American coin. It must be a foreign coin, and not even realize that it could be something valuable or that it could be a token even.
Right. Now, even like during the 60s, I want to say like in between 67 and 69, they did a lot of restrikes on Civil War coins, and there's a slight difference of the restrikes as far as what's a restrike and what's a fantasy coin. And some of those restrikes, they use like the actual die that was used to make the original coin, and then a fantasy is super close, but then on one side there's just something totally different. And a lot of times people will sell the fantasy like $1 or whatever because they know that they were told that it's not real. But when you go to look up, a lot of the restrikes and fantasies sometimes are more expensive and more valuable than the actual real coin.
Right. There can be a nice collector base for those as well.
Right. Yeah. So,
definitely.
And it's just different. I think you've seen the video of my casino ones.
Yes, I did. That was an impressive book.
Yeah. Now that one, it was, I was actually at the coin shop, and the coin dealer had just bought a whole bunch of gold, so he didn't have that much cash on hand in the store, and some guy was in there, walked in, he was just trying to sell it for whatever he can get because his washing machine broke, and I had $50 on me, and I basically bought all those tokens, probably about $400 or $500 worth of tokens for $50.
That's a hell of a deal.
So for me, the kind of right place at the right time. If I had more, I actually would have gave him more because in my head it was worth it. But the guy was just appreciative of whatever he could get. So from there, that catalog that I had, every time I find a casino coin, I just add to that existing catalog, that folder.
Nice.
So I'm almost to the point now. I'm starting to. I need to start looking for a like a metal filing cabinet.
Right.
Because I have notes with a lot of the things on the flips. When you put tokens in, there's only so much you can even put, information wise.
Right, you can only write so much down on them.
Exactly. To where if I had like a file folders, I can, whether I keep some in a folder and then the best one like in a slab with a 5x7 index that can tell you more about whatever. I want to look into something like that. 'Cause my dream has always been to have it may sound funny, but kind of like a traveling museum of coins.
Oh, well, that's cool.
From anything from, because even, I don't really show too much of it, but I probably have more of a world collection coin than anything. I'm just fascinated. That way I have a point from every country, from every time period. It's just nice to look at. So I've always wanted to have a kind of like a traveling museum of coins, tokens, and whatever.
Oh, wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. Now, I mean, obviously, if you want to have something like that, you want to have information to go along with it.
Right, because you know somebody's going to come up and say, well, what is this one? And then you want to make sure to be able to...
Yeah. Steve Z's in the comments. Yeah, it's me, Gordon, in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was asking the other day how how the weather's getting there, because I know with all the diving he does, but he said it's getting a little bit cooler out that way, or up that way, I should say.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good to see Steve in the chat. Always a great guy to talk to. Steve's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And very inspiring for a lot of people.
Right. Now for me, the one person that's in here is Michael Boyle, since he's local. He's actually, for the past couple of years, some people, I don't know if they gave up on me because, like, 3 years and you still haven't really put anything out on your with your metal detector. But Boyles has kind of hung in with me from day one. So my plan is I want to buy an RV soon, and any chance we can hit the road detecting another county, another state, I want to do it.
Hey, there you go. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Like, he's stuck with me. So a lot of these people, most of these people in this group, in this radio, on the podcast here, a lot of these are the ones who have stuck with me through the years, accepted me for all my nonsense, all my tokens and weird things I post.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but this is definitely this podcast, everything about it. I listened for a while and I never said too much. I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't even know how to do the live chat until I figured out log in off of my Facebook. And I was like, oh, there's all these comments and stuff.
Yeah, there's all these people they keep talking about.
Yeah. But this is very refreshing. The topics change weekly. I know sometimes we have to get put on hold and we get sidetracked because of the format, which I like. I like an open format versus, I think we talk off the air, versus something that's script. I don't want to sound like a textbook or a classroom. But this is very, I love it. I love this. I love being in here. I love reading the things. I love what the people have to say. Just as much as I love the tokens.
Right. Yeah, every now and then you just never know what's going to happen around here. Actually, a few shows back, right there just minutes before we were going to go live, we wound up, we had an open line night set up, and we went live with Steve Zazulik, and had a great time kind of catching up on things. Oh,
yeah. That was the night that Steve was talking to Michael and asking him all his questions.
Yeah, exactly. Mike called in that night.
Yeah, for me, yeah, and Steve has always been interesting to me. But then again, I've always wanted to scuba dive and all that stuff. And so to me, that's a whole different aspect and something I've never done outside of snorkeling.
Right.
But to me, it seems like... in the future, that might be something I might want to look into. It seems like I don't know about as far as with the equipment on out of the water, but at least for my body, I'm thinking being in the water will give me a chance to still fulfill my adventures of detecting and not feel bogged down as much.
Right, that is a good point. Sometimes it's if you're having a little bit of trouble getting around and stuff, sometimes in the water you're more buoyant, so it's easier to move around.
Right. Even even for on land, as far as like the detecting and stuff, like the AT Max, obviously someone sent it to me, but I was looking forward to getting it because when me and Boyles were at Calico, I actually liked the weight of it, and it felt like my body can withstand swinging it. Now, I probably will switch to the smaller 5x8 coil just to give it a little bit more lightness, but that's why I'm kind of curious of what Chuck has to say about the weight and all that stuff of the new Equinox.
Well, I know earlier he was in the chat, so he may drop us a call and address that question for you. Well, that question and the other questions you had for him if he's around still.
Oh yeah, Chuck, if you're in here, please. I mean, if anyone else went out there to the detective ball, some of the simple things I want to know would be ground balancing. You know how I see they make the AT Max and then the AT Max International, the AT Pro, you know, and stuff like that. Like, how does our machines, when we go over there, how does that ground balance? Is it end up being fine, or what does the numbers show? Does it get funky? And then the last video he posted, I want to know about the property he was on. It looked very amazing.
Yeah, Chuck's got a knack for that, for sure. That was quite a nice spot he was on. I think he really enjoyed himself over there. I know I would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely good questions.
Yeah, this is some of those things. I mean, I sometimes I see myself as traveling abroad, and you'd want to bring your equipment, but bring your equipment, and if it doesn't work, you know. So I'm just curious of how that works.
Right. Well, in that aspect, I'm sure that your equipment would still work. I know, like we were talking earlier, Steve's in the chat, and he does a fair amount of traveling and seems to do quite well with his finds. So right. I'm sure his gear's working.
Right, and I believe Canadian ones come out totally different. The tones. Oh, Chuck is in.
Oh. Okay, well then maybe he can drop us a line then, because I'm pretty sure that, well, I would have to think, not messing with an international model myself, that it's probably more they release different models because the internal programming is geared more for their style of targets.
Right.
I would think, anyway.
I was wondering, like, that's more of what I was wanting to know, like, when it does hit a target. Because I know, like, on my AT Pro, I put a Canadian penny or whatever in front of it, and the tone, like, half the time it sounded so faint, and I was, like, right there. Like, I almost wasn't picking it up. But then I wave it in front of the Max, and it's clear as a whistle. Different tone, but still clear. So I was wondering how that works, you know.
Right. I know it's been my experience usually when I find Canadian coins here in the States that, well, where'd they go? Okay, I think we've got a caller there. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, it's me. Hi, Josh. It's Steve.
Oh, hey, how's it going, Steve?
I'm just sitting here on the couch with my lovely wife listening to you guys.
Uh-oh.
Good. How are you?
All right.
The conversation is good tonight, guys. I like what I hear. I was waiting to see if Chuck was going to join.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he is, but I know you had some questions for him as well, or wanted to hear from him. And gee, wouldn't you know it? I do believe we've got the man himself on with us. How is it going, Chuck?
Hey guys, how's it going? Gordam, how you doing? Nice to talk to you for the first time. And I'm going to check your site out when I get a chance. A lot of the feed that I'm getting on the voice is cutting in and out. So, sorry I missed some of the questions that you had.
Well, that's all right. Hang in there with us,
okay.
Chuck, because we got a couple of guys on here that'd like to talk to you. Steve Z's on with us as well.
Yeah.
So I guess...
Hi, Chuck. How are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good, good. You were pretty busy, I see, last week.
Oh, yes, he was.
That's my other job, guys. In the tones drop I go, and we were busy, and this has been a very busy week, and this is the first night that I haven't been out. First day that we haven't been out for hours doing different things, so it's been good.
Wow.
Hey, Chuck, I had a question on the Equinox. Were you able to swing that a full day out there?
No, I only got a little bit of time on it. I mean, literally, when they have a rally, and this was an eye-opener over there, there are around 2,000 people there, versus our hunts here may have a few hundred.
Right.
And everybody wanted their piece of the pie, and they had dealers in from all over the world, and I was very fortunate to be chosen as one to go and be involved in this, and I was actually given time to the Mind Lab thing. They had people buying stuff, and then when I got a chance, I swung it, and then I went out with a group from Russia, and it's a good thing that Google has that translator, because we were working on it, and they were filming to take back. A Russian dealer was, and it gave me a little time on the side with it and going through it and learning a little bit more about it. So I wish I was able to have it all day, but it just wasn't going to work out. At that time, the models they had there, they had 12 of them, and they were not 100% functional. There was the prospecting mode wasn't turned on them. There was only one 100% unit there. That was it. But they were usable in the field with the pattern, and I'm very impressed with its lightweight. It's rugged. I like a rugged machine, so it's built very well. It's built to withstand rigors of travel, rigors of being out in the field. I like that. It weighs 2.3 pounds, a little bit over that. Pretty close to a Deus. There's already 3 coils set up for it. And it's not like, let's use the Xterra, where you bought a coil and it changed this unit. You can pick a single frequency, or you can set it up to be similar to your FBS units, where it's scanning those frequencies all the time. So I was very impressed with it, and some of the other features are a game changer. Of course, it's using it as an example. It's got an internal battery. It has a magnetic clip on to charge. Then there'll be a spare charge pack that you pre-charge, and if you get low in the field, you snap that on the handle, hook it up, and it charges while you're hunting with it.
Oh, that's very
Wow,
nice.
that's nice. Hey, Chuck, is there anything that you would compare this thing to?
No. There's some stuff on there that's so brand new that I can't compare it to them, so that's why I wanted to get more time with it.
Nice.
Ease operation. You have ground balance feature. You have tracking feature. Prospecting feature on the 800 only, and now when you're on the prospecting feature, you're only on one frequency. You're on a higher end frequency, so that doesn't scan that. That's set up for a prospecting mode.
Oh, that's incredible. All in one machine.
All in one machine, and I am very, very impressed with the unit. Now, I did not get days worth of hunting with it. I wish I could have. I wish I could have went out. I was making some finds. I was using my 30-30, and I had another backup detector with me. Somebody asked about going over there. When you go that far, where you're going that distance, a backup is a lightweight backup is what I took with me, and it was there. I never used it. I stayed with a 30-30, and I was making some great finds. And I got a Roman fibula, which closes the robe. I got a Celtic bronze ring. I got coinage into the early 1600s up. And it was a pretty neat hunt. Of course, I found some modern stuff in the area I was working, but and that reed's totally different than anything that you get here. It's always lower and that kind of stuff. But the Georgian coins I found a large 1649 halfpenny or a half cent or whatever Georgian. It was a little larger than the later ones, and that rang up. Actually, it rang up rather high and loud, and I was impressed. And I found quite a few 16 and 1700 coins, and anything 1700, unless it's silver or gold, they consider that ditch fodder. They don't even want to mess with it.
Yeah, that drives me crazy how they look at it like, and I'm something we'd die for.
Yeah, I know it. And I just laugh, but they were very impressed with two coins I found. I found a 1606, which was only made 1 year, that particular one, and it ended up being worth a few $100. And then I found that other halfpenny, which is kind of rough. It had been worth quite a bit, but it was kind of rough. And then a couple guys look at it, and the place I was staying, I was on their property. They had 500 acres. There'd been a castle built there, and they built around this castle. And they gave me pretty much, after everything was cooled down, everybody left, free range to go anywhere I wanted to out there. And I was digging up some pretty neat stuff.
Good job on those finds.
How about the ground balance from your machine, the U.S. machine being over there? Did it ground balance fairly well?
No, I was using the 3030, and I actually started out just in a coin mode that I used here for a lot, and let it do its thing. I was watching the sensitivity to see what it was telling me. You know, as your sensitivity wants to drop from, like, say, if you're hunting here and you're on auto sensitivity with a 3030 and it drops from, let's say, 21 and gets down to 14, 15, then I've got high mineralization conditions. I'm going to switch over and do a manual. I did not have that there, but out at Detectable, out in the fields, there were some hot zones, and there were also hot rocks.
Oh, okay.
So you run in, I mean, the fields that we were in out there at Detectable, in Barb, you would know what I'm talking about. In Virginia, how rocky it is. This place made Virginia look like a breeze out there, the Culpeper area with all the rocks in the field. It was just like being on a gravel road, and this was a field.
Wow.
That last video you posted, that building that you were at with the nice manicured lawn and all that, what is that place?
That's where they let me hunt.
Wow, that place looks amazing.
1690 castle, and I was finding the Georgian coins to match that. So what I did is I worked with the hotel. I gave them everything I found there to take. The local coroner was going to look at them. They're going to put a display up behind the counter with me as the finder off that site.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. That's very nice.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I was having more fun being able to just get out and hunt like we would here at home as a single person out doing your thing. And I found an old road bed that ran through the property, and that's where most of the old stuff come. And I found lead all over the place. They used lead for everything during that era. And I handed them the lead, and they all kind of looked at it, including the coroner, did, well, it's old lead, but it's nothing that, you know, because it wasn't fancy. But I said, I kept everything, and I marked it. I took him and showed him where I was finding it. He said, all along the road bed? I said, yeah. I had a mile of that old road bed. They figured that road was put in about 1650.
Nice. Man, that's
so I had a blast. I really did. And then we traveled around, and I got to network with dealers from all over the world, and I kind of fell in with the Scots and the Scotsmen and the Irish dealers, and we'd sit and talk at night, and they had a great brogue, and we had a good time, and the Glenfiddich was good on ice. That was very good.
There you go.
Actually, it was.
Right.
With that being said, you guys, I did get enough time to be impressed by that machine. Now, it's new. It's something that, in fact, if you watch the one video with the gentleman behind that tent talking to me, he is the designing engineer of that unit. And he gave every feature down to a gnat backside and talking about what they put into that machine. And he says it's a game changer, and I really believe this. So I don't think you're going to see the last of it. The 600 does not have the prospecting mode in it. And if you're not ever going to prospect, well, then the 600 might be the one for you. But I would want the 800. It's got a little more features, and that is my recommendation. But sometimes budget drives a lot of things too.
Right. Plus, you get the wireless headphones with the 800.
Right. You get the wireless setup, and I would want to be wireless, especially in a waiting situation or something down along the beach. And I'm very anxious to get them in hand. And the release date that they wanted us to say was somewhere before February. They're working very hard to get it out before then, and I've been told some other dates, and I'm not going to say anything because I don't want it to come out like the AT Max and have a little fiasco where each month you were waiting.
Right, definitely. Well, what is your impressions with the new Profinds since we've got you on?
They're very nice, and I think that's going to be a winner, and you're going to see that before Christmas. And the pricing is correct. It's right in line with most of the good pinpointers out there, and then you have two models, the 15 and the 35. My money, if you got it, go to the 35. It's got the iron indicator feature and waterproof.
Yeah, waterproof.
Right, that'd be right down Steve's alley because it's got to be waterproof.
I've been waiting for waterproof.
Yeah, and they're making waterproof. Now, the 15 is splash-proof. It's kind of water-resistant. Well,
right.
If I'm going to spend the money, I want a waterproof one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're only talking, $30 difference, $35 difference?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know why you would even think about it.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's a no-brainer. Just get the 35.
A lot of it is, you guys, there's a certain price point that some people can only get to, and that may be the one they can get to start out with, and that's why it's that way.
True.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That is a very good point.
I mean, not everybody can go out and buy a 30-30, but they're going to maybe be able to jump in and I've actually had cancellations on AT Maxes to go to the Equinox.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing about that.
Most of us can go. It's just whether our wives will let us come back home after we buy it.
That's the truth. I never say anything about that. It's inventory for me, you guys. It's just inventory. At the end of the season, it may be sold off.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point, though, Steve.
But I was very impressed with that. I was very impressed with Mind Lab's handling of what they're doing on this. And there's some other things coming down the pike. There's some new stuff coming down. I can't talk about it. But I can say this much. They are going to have another, and that'll be soon, they're going to have another maintenance, another repair place. So that's coming.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So they're getting their ducks back in a row. Things are getting straightened out worldwide. And I spent some time with Peter, and we had a nice talk. And he said they've got a lot on the plate right now, and they're making it straight. So that's a good thing. I trust them.
Yeah, I had also heard about the new maintenance place. So that I'm really excited about that too. Because as you know, they're
buying electronic devices. No matter who makes them, they're not perfect all the time. And I try to tell people that, I said, you leave it cook in a car, or you leave it freeze out in the shed, or it gets wet where it's not supposed to be getting wet, or you haven't done things to take care of it, they're there to fix it. And if it's warranty, they cover it. They cover it very well. But if it's out of warranty, you might have to pay for some of it. And that's on all of them.
Right.
Yeah, they've replaced two of my CTXs. Because I'm really abusive to my machines. I hate to admit it. But I'm very, my friends.
Right. Well, and I think too, maybe with the new repair place, hopefully that'll kind of speed up the turnaround sometimes when you have to
Yes,
ship that
that's one of
CTX
their
in,
goals.
Steve.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. Hey, MindLab is a great product. I don't think there's too many people out there that can deny that.
That's
No.
right. And,
Yeah.
you know, they've tried to stay cutting edge. In the past couple of years, it's mellowed a little bit as they really worked on the Goldfield products, like the Gold Monster and some of the other stuff, the 7000, and especially items for those units because of the demand for that and keyed on it. But they want everybody to know that they haven't forgotten coin and treasure. And I've been able to, with that, let's see, how can I say this? With the Equinox, a friend of mine has kept me well informed on what he thinks of it, who's one of the testers, and I've been kind of following it since back early in the year, and maybe had some time on another unit, and that's all I can say about that that was sent to him. And I've been impressed. I'm really excited to get it in hand and get out in the field with it and see how it does in general coin and treasure hunting. And that is the major design, but it does carry a prospecting level in it. I'm interested in that simply because when you're traveling around an ATV and you've got all this stuff strapped on, I want a small lightweight unit where I'm going out and doing tests where I think I need to be at, and then if I find it's doing good, I'll take a bigger machine back later.
That's a good point. Definitely. And I think with the release of the Equinox, they have certainly found themselves a winner and knocked it out of the park. Obviously, time will tell once they get into the user hands.
Let's keep our fingers crossed that that's the way I see it right now and the feeling for it. And over in England, they were nailing some stuff. The testers like it, and it's good. And let's see if it's the home run that I think it's going to be.
Right. Well, hopefully it is.
Do you think it'd be good as a standalone, or would you use that as a backup?
You know, that's for me on coin and treasure. I'm generally swinging a 30-30, but I would think that this unit, after I get some practice with it, may be a standalone also because, again, I'm talking price point. Right. Not everybody can afford the 30-30 or even the E-Track. They might be able to buy the Safari, but this one is a step above the mid-range, but not at the 30-30 level.
Right, okay.
Okay, I was seeing some great depth, really, and sensitivity to tiny items. I was very impressed with that. So it's going to cover a wide range. It's going to be able to be used in the water at your beaches. It's going to be able to be used in the gold fields, and it's going to be able to be used as coin and treasure. So you've got a wide scope there, and I'm very impressed with them having a broad field detector that's good.
Yeah, a large market that they can hit.
Right, and that gives everybody the opportunity to have something in hand. We're going down to North Carolina and be on the beaches. I got a detector to go there, and it has a ground balance feature, and it seems to do good in relic hunting as a relic mode in it. Barb, you may like this. It might be a good backup out there in Virginia, but, you know, I got to take it there and try it. I've got to go try it to see if it will cut the mustard there. It was doing very well in the high mineralized ground out at Detective Hall. There's a couple areas that were fairly hot, but nothing like Culpeper or Winchester. Nothing like that. So it would be interesting to see how it does there.
Right. Definitely.
Nice.
Wow, what a great call.
The depth on that, is that for underwater, is that going to be 10 feet, like a AT?
10 meters, Gordon. You can go down 10 meters with it.
10 meters?
You could snorkel. It's not going to be a deep water dive unit.
Right.
Wow.
Or, excuse me, 3 meters, 10 feet. I'm getting
Oh,
my
okay,
meters.
10 feet.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, I was
Back
starting.
from England confused. I only scared a few of the Englishmen driving, and my wife only screamed twice, so that was pretty good.
Right, he
So
was.
it'll go down. It's basically comparable to the what they're saying the AT Max will do.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, a side-by-side test on an actual buried object, it's going to be interesting to do that. Air testing is not my forte. I don't believe in it. Not all units air test well, but they do good in the ground.
Amen.
So,
Right.
the air test means not a hell of a lot to me. If you got something that shows like on a pinpointer 3 inches, but does it get it at 4.5 in the ground if it's moist or good conditions? Probably
Exactly.
should.
I want to
Same way
see
with
real
detectors.
infield
You get
experience.
6 inches in the air. Oh, that's not very good. But then you got it at 10 inches in the ground. Well, that's pretty good.
Right. Exactly. I would agree. Well, sounds like you need to get a hold of one of them, Steve, and give it a shot up there in Canada.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting back listening to this. It's a great call. I mean, both all three of you guys, Gordon, Josh, and good old Chuck. Boy, I tell you, when he called in, everything my ears just went right up, especially talking about that machine. But,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to head back into the water now. My cell phone doesn't work too good.
Right.
Too good in the water.
Okay.
I'm going to throw the tanks back on and see what I can do. Hey, listen, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for the info.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for the call, Steve.
Thanks for the call.
Okay. See you guys.
See you, bud. Bye-bye.
Well, so we got, and that was good because Steve was looking forward to talking to you the other week when we were going to try to get you in there.
I know. It's been busy since they planned this for me. They waited till I got back, and we've been running our backsides off. So, with that being said, and we need rain here so bad it's crazy. And I haven't been doing any digging, but I made a brief mention while I was in the chat there. I did find a treasure today that just blew my mind for a guy.
Oh. Well.
And I followed the Old West. That's been one of my loves all my life. And I went out and treasure hunted out there. I've been in Dakota. Speaking of tokens, Gordam, I found one in about 1975. I was in the Black Hills outside of Deadwood, and I found a token. I didn't think too much of it until I had a guy identify it, and it had a number 10 on it. That was it. And a GF on the back, and what that meant was good for one drink. And that came, and it's one of the rarest there is that's out of the Old West. It came from the number 10 Saloon. Now, if you know your history on the number 10 Saloon, that's where Wild Bill ended his life. He was shot in the back of the head with the aces and eights, and I have a number 10 Saloon token. I've got that put away. Actually, that's quite valuable.
That is
one of my
super
rarest
cool.
finds. That's why I like to find tokens.
Yeah. Now, see, I love the Old West, the saloons and all that stuff. The problem is the market is so flooded with counterfeits. And
I know.
Really, I would only feel safe as if I dug one. I'd
Good
be too
point.
skeptical unless it was a slab. I'd almost be too scared to throw my money at something because the saloon tokens and a lot of the hard time tokens lately have been being counterfeited. So it's risky. So really, unless you find it in the ground and know it's the real deal, it's so scary now. But yeah, that's very valuable what you have.
That's a nice one for
I didn't
sure.
know what I had. It took a couple years. I mean, we find tokens, and until today where we can get online and see everything and have sites like yours, Gordam, where we can ID stuff and get a lot of help. Back in the day, you had to go find a book on tokens or find somebody that knew something because token collecting was a niche market. So you didn't have a lot of information, and I just got lucky, and I had a gentleman say, you know what you got here? And I told him where I found it, and he pretty much verified it. And I said, really? So I clipped it up, and he said, there's very few of those.
Yeah. There's back in the days, we used to go to the library, and they used to have like the microfiche films, and I used to look at tokens that way. But now with the new technology, I think you can even take a picture off of the microfiche and save it. Because before I used to get little books. They were like Xerox copies and like almost like 5 or 6 just pages and a staple right down the middle. And that's how I used to get my stuff. It looked hand drawn or just black and white, hot mess. But yeah, it was always hard. So now with the internet, it's become a lot easier. But then I noticed lately the counterfeiting is going up too, especially like counter stamps, because counter stamps are so more personalized. They started to do fake counter stamps on coins.
Wow.
So and then a lot of those were considered mavericks, like one-off shops. So the initials are already alone hard to trace back. So it was almost hard to even figure out which was the real deal or not.
Right. Well, the microfiche, I mean, that was what I used in the wintertime. I'd go down to the library and go through a lot of things, or I'd go to Historical Society and trying to find the real newspapers to find spots to go and to go detect. And I traveled the West pretty heavy, mostly prospecting, but I did do some detecting when I get places to go on. And I found a few nice things because of it, but you didn't know what you had in hand until you had somebody that could help you, or you actually stumbled across information on it.
Oh, yeah. Even I was telling Josh on the air, because we were actually talking about prospecting, and I was like, I used to live in Colorado, that I would like it in Colorado. But even like when I was in Colorado, there's so much rocks, stones, minerals and stuff like that, quartz, and I used to see all that stuff just cruising around. But I wasn't into stuff like that, so I just looked at it. Oh, look at that sparkly looking rock, and just kept pedaling my mind. Now as I look, oh my gosh, I could scoop a couple of those, and them guys are making some decent money just off of little rocks.
Wow,
that's
where
true.
it goes. My wife knows the gemstone end of it, and we've been in the Carolinas, and she's found emerald. She has found amethyst to the point that she had a nice enough piece that we had an 8-carat pear-shaped cut for her. And then I took gold that I had, and we melded into and wire wrapped it, and that I had found and strung the wire. I had the wire made out of gold I had found for her necklace. And moss agate, she knows all that stuff. When I'm out prospecting, she's prospecting too, but she ain't looking for gold. She's looking for the gemstones.
Well, I'll bet that's a sharp-looking piece she's got.
It is. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So, but
there's a program on TV. I know they're not making much, but compared to the gold. But I see a lot of them gemstone people, $152, $200 a day for like hour work. As long as they know, if they hit a good vein, they're set for the day. Sometimes even set for the week.
Right.
So
that's right. They go out and they every once in a while hit it pretty good. Treasure hunting, it just doesn't include us coin shooting or cash hunting or prospecting. I've got guys that belong to our club up here. The one guy, all he does is hit flea markets, local sales, yard sales, this kind of stuff, and he treasure hunts those. And he's gotten some jewelry and things, and it'll blow your mind by just having a sharp eye and knowing what he's looking for, and he's done pretty well with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, I agree. Flea market, especially, I do flea markets kind of like coin shops. You have coin shops that are in it just for the gold and silver sell and resell. You got coin shops who actually know what the coins and stuff they have.
Right.
So at one place, you're going to pay almost double of what the other guy's asking for. But when I go to the flea market, I don't really look at the coin shops at the flea market. I look at the little hodgepodge. Guy has a little bit of everything, because that's where I find all my tokens and coins. The guy doesn't really know the value of it. If he can make a few bucks, he's happy. So that you can make a fortune off of those places that really don't know what they have.
And then there's the coin roll hunters and the silver they find, and you know, they're treasure hunting too, and things like that. And I'm kind of leading into something that walked into me today. One of my loves is hunting and old Western type of guns and things like that. And he had me do an appraisal on some of his great granddad's guns, and he handed me. Now, you guys, you may or may not know what a single action Army Colt revolver is, but he had one.
Nice.
So I took a look, and it was 20% grade on an NRA grade, and I got to looking at it, and it was a 4-digit serial number. So I pulled some books out and started looking at the numbers, and the earliest ones out there were pretty much strictly military. So this one fell into a range, and I think it was 4906 is a serial number, or in thereabouts. That particular gun was inspected by a military inspector by the last name of Ainsworth. Very well known, very highly collected when his guns come to pass. But that range of guns, and in my books, and I showed him twice, and we checked the numbers, and the gun is all numbers match. Every serial number matches. Many military guns don't, because they come back to the armorer, and it's got a broken this or broken that. So they just throw that piece away and put another piece in from another gun. And parts guns go to other ones. So finding an all parts numbered gun that matches out of the military sometimes is rare, but this is an Ainsworth single action Army, U.S. issued, and the issuance all went to the 7th Cavalry. It is a Custer's cavalry gun, walked in my door today, that's never been known.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Well, as it is at 10% grade by the books, which is a little better than that, it's $16,000 to $18,000. And with that moniker, and I told them what we have to do. We have to get a Colt letter, and I've got some experts down here that are going to take a look at it. We're setting that up in the Rock Island auction. And if you guys know anything about firearms, that's the premier auction house in the world, and it's down the road here 40 minutes. And when they have auctions, some of the best is there. And the gun is not 100. It's 100%, including the wood grips. And if this all works out, this could put this to a 6-figure gun. The guy had no idea what he had, none whatsoever. And it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, to handle that piece, to have a piece of Western history in your hands of that nature is once in a lifetime.
Absolutely. Not only to handle it, but to even give the guy the good news about it, in a sense.
He sat there I told him 3 times. I got the book out. I showed him the serial number range. I had him read it out loud. He snapped a quick picture of it. He says, "You're not kidding." I said, "No. You've got a piece here that has true Western history. Get the Colt letter. You can take a picture of your gun, show them the serial number, show everything matches, and they will go into the records. The records are just phenomenal of exactly what day that was made, who it was issued to, whose hands it went through, and then it went into the cavalry. And if you get in deep enough, you may even find out the person it was issued to.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I think at that point it makes in value once you can connect it to a person.
So, treasure can be found, and sometimes it walks up to you.
Right, and it comes in many shapes and forms.
That's right. So, and I was I'm still excited about it. I'm very excited to be helping him research this weapon, to research the history of the United States, and have something like that walk up to you. I've had a couple others in the past that just blew my mind, and that is the second gun now that I have handled or had walk up to me that literally ties directly to Custer.
Nice.
Wow. Now, has that been publicly been made public already through the auction house? Or?
Who? No, this has not been made public. This happened this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's all going to come out. I had one other piece in 1985 that was a woulda, shoulda, coulda. I could have bought it. I didn't, because in the world of old firearms, condition is everything, and if nobody's cut it, changed it, done anything to it, and there was one particular piece in Moline, Illinois, that I looked at several times. I knew the gentleman that was selling it. I had bought other particular Western guns from him, and I looked this gun over, and many others did too, and the standard barrel length for what they called a sheriff's model was 5.5 inches. And this gun had a 5-inch barrel, so had it been cut down by somebody, sometimes that detracts for it. It did not have a Colt letter. Well, a gentleman out of Nebraska came through, and Davenport has a very well-known gun show every year on mostly historical type stuff, and at that time, and I didn't buy it, and the gentleman bought it, and he ran the Colt letter. And then, you know, there's an expense with a Colt letter. Today it's about $200 to get that letter. And he got the letter, and it came back. It was a special order for a particular gentleman that you guys know, by any chance know maybe who an Old West guy was. It's probably one of the most famous sheriffs there ever was. His first name was Bartholomew.
No, doesn't ring a bell.
It's ringing a vague bell.
When he got the letter back, he had a copy of the original order letter, handwritten and hand-signed by Bat Masterson.
Wow.
Oh, he got himself something there.
Yes, he did.
Now, with that pistol, if you was...
It was made a half-inch shorter, so his draw was quicker, and that's the way it was ordered. It was in that letter. It made front-page news almost every paper in the country. And this was back in about 85. I got the cutout. Jill always reminds me you should have bought that. But at the time, he was a little pricey on it. It was in rather good shape. And it was Bat Masterson's personal piece while he was one of the deputies in Dodge City, Kansas.
Wow. Yeah, I bet there's plenty of people that are kind of kicking themselves for not pulling the trigger on that purchase.
Yep. So I relayed that story to this owner of this gun today. If you don't get the letter and continue to follow this out, you're only hurting yourself. And I said, it'll cost you $200 and a good set of pictures, and you get them sent in to Colt. And if that's in Ainsworth and it was issued to the 7th Cavalry, jackpot.
You'll thank yourself later.
Now, if he was to find a 7 Cav lapel pin and added it with the gun, does that increase the value, or do they strictly go on only the gun?
Well, the whole thing is now he's going to delve back and to answer your question, anything you find that can increase the value and history on that. If he finds the person, if he finds all this through Colt, he's going to delve back. He went right home to talk to his mom about great-grandpa.
Yeah, absolutely, because it all adds to the provenance.
Originated from in the family. It has been passed down through the family.
Nice.
So, yeah, I started reading on that, and I'm looking at him going, "Phew, oh boy."
Oh, right.
So, it was a nice find. I'm still tickled over that. So, it's many different forms of our treasure hunting.
Agreed.
So, it's fun to follow, and what we dig up, your tokens tell history. I mean, the store cards, and Barb likes those. I know she's found them out there.
Absolutely.
And they're just phenomenal to dig up. I found one at the DIV last year from Schenectady, New York, 1863. They made them 1 year. They made 400 of them. Unfortunately, it's extremely rough. Out at DIV on the Brandy Station area and Brandywine Battle, and I found store cards in unusual places from the Civil War era. I found so-called dollars. I've got 2 of those. One commemorates an express company and it became larger, and then I've got it down in the safe, and it had a R4 rating on it. Today I was able to look it up, get on the internet and type in the information, and comes up a so-called dollar, and they were commemorative coins and all this kind of stuff. So you can go in and type in so-called dollars. You'll find that there was a lot of them made, and they're still made today.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
At one point in time, the store cards were considered counterfeits.
Yeah, they were.
During the hard time era, because they were using die cuts that were so similar to the actual coins that were out there. But now a lot of them are actually more valuable than we were talking about earlier. Now they're more valuable than the actual coin.
That's right.
Yeah. And somebody in the club, and maybe Jesse can type it up, found Hard Times token last month. It was in the Find of the Month, I believe, and they're always fun to find.
Yes, they are. I would agree.
But anyway, I think I've taken enough of your time. I hope I was able to answer any questions on that equinox. You can go to my page and check out some of the videos I posted. I have some more that I'm going to put on YouTube of Detective All. That was really a neat thing to experience, to see a rally where they were camping all around the main village and going out in thousands of acres of unhunted. They knew they had some Roman stuff, and there were some neat Roman coins and things found out on these sites. And it's a lot of fun, and I would do that again. That was just simply a good time, and the weather was relatively nice. We did have some rain. It got a little muddy out there, and their mud. Now, I know Jesse knows what gumbo is. We call it gumbo. It sticks to everything, this lowland mud. Well, it does that out there, too. You end up walking and having 2 pounds of mud on each foot and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it was nice. It wasn't terribly cold, and it rained off and on. You get a little shower, and then it clear up, and it was a good time. I learned a lot, and it's good to see that type of stuff. And raw hunting rallies versus, now they had a hunt for tokens for prizes, but they don't put coins in the ground or anything like that. But they had a tokens hunt and giving out all the prizes donated by just about everybody. And of course, Mine Lab and Dave's, everybody had detectors there to dig. I didn't get to go to the token hunt because we were in the conference learning about all the new stuff coming down from Mine Lab. But the Saturday, Sunday, I got some hunting in and some networking and met some real nice people, fellow treasure hunters from around the world, and that was worth more than anything.
Absolutely. Definitely. Well, we certainly appreciate the call and all the information.
Agreed.
Oh, that's all right. That's fun. When I started out detecting, if it wasn't for the guys that kind of took you under your wing that first year or 2 years that you were doing it and learning about the hobby and learning about the avenues you could follow with it, I would have been lost. I might have even gave it up, but those guys always give you a little extra to get going on. You're starting to find better and more stuff. So to all the newer people out there, hang in there with it. It's well worth it, and you'll find different avenues and ways to research, and you get a better understanding for our history and world history for what we do, and we are saving a piece of history every time that we dig something up. Not necessarily a Mercury dime, but some of the tokens you can, like the store cards and things that Gordam's been talking about. It's very good stuff, and if not, it's going to sit there and rot, because what we put on our fields and stuff anymore is not kind to it, and our brass and bronze and copper is getting rougher and rougher every year. I rarely, back when I first started, found Indian heads that were chewed up. They always generally had a pretty nice patina in that, but now I'm seeing that time and what we put on the fields of that hasn't been kind to it.
That's right.
So we're saving some history.
Yeah.
Very good point. Definitely. Well, are you taking pre-orders for the Equinox or the Profine?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. If you want to pre-order, contact me there on the Facebook, and we'll set you up on a pre-order. And I'm hoping, I'm not promising you guys anything, but I'm hoping by the end of the year you may see these out there. And like I said, I'm sticking by the February issuance, but it could happen sooner. It could happen sooner.
Awesome.
If they give you a pre-release demo, are you gonna do videos on it?
Well, if I get a pre-release demo, I'll jump all over it. But right now, it doesn't sound like it. There's none except for some testers that got early units throughout the country. Now, they generally don't use dealers for testing. They use individuals that have worked with them that they know and get out and test them. But I have some that talk to me about what they're doing with it, and they may even ask questions on different things on it, and I try to help and work on them. But right now, there ain't many out there, guys.
Right. Okay.
I stole the AT Max. The ones I got to use is when KG and Ring came to Iowa, and I stole their machines. When they put them down and I take off, they have to chase me for them. And actually, the one day I got several hours of good hunt time with it. And it's not your AT Max ain't your Pro. You just got to work with it a little more. And it's a good machine. It's a good machine. So I'm looking forward to this Equinox with great expectation to be a better one.
Nice.
Better than that. And they've hit the ball long so far. We'll see if it clears the fence.
All right. Well, thanks for the call and all the information, and definitely, like you said, if they're looking to pre-order, they should look you up there, hit your page, or even the Shooters and Prospectors page.
Give me a holler, and we'll work with you. I got some good friends on the site here that I've known a long time. I know Jesse. Hey, Jesse's got a detector for sale, too. If anybody's out there looking, get a hold of Jesse. He's got one he's selling off. He's got a MyLab Explorer, and it's in good shape. Jesse takes good care of his stuff. That was his first FBS unit, and he's been swapping and trading and moving up, but he's gotten on overload, and I think Mama told him to trim back.
Mm-hmm. Good machine, though. Good machine. He posted up pictures of it. The thing looks to be in mint shape.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Jesse, if you want to post that in the World of Tokens, you're more than welcome to try to help get it off of your hands.
Oh, very nice, Gordon.
Thank you, Gordon. All right, folks, I'll get off there. Everybody have a good night. It's a quiet one for me. Chief's off tonight, so have a good one.
All right. Thanks for the call, Chuck.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, we've definitely ran on for a while. We may have to get you back again sometime, Gordon, to hear some more about tokens.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
But
I'll tell you guys about my silly actual metal detecting finds as well, and how I go about doing some of those.
Right, yeah, absolutely. But before you go, let people know where they can find you and the World of Tokens.
Okay, yeah. Basically on the Facebook, either Gordam Matteson, GordanMatteson, for my personal, or World of Tokens. The logo will be like a white. The top picture is going to say World with the O being a globe, and of tokens up top, and that's the official one. There was a second page that I couldn't figure out how to delete, so that one also has a link to bring you to the World of Tokens. So, and like I said, everyone's more than welcome to come join, share your finds. All I ask is, because there probably are some kids in there, all I ask is to kind of be cordial and help and have fun up in there.
Right. Very good way to put it, and continued success with the group.
Thank you, and same with the station, and actually for everyone in here, always spread the word and help the people who are helping you. It's the way we get it done.
That's right. That's what we like to see. That's how we roll. All right.
Exactly.
Well, I guess for those in the chat, too, I'm not sure who all's still in the chat right now. I haven't exactly been following real close. But for those who are still in the chat, there could be a listener in there, Mr. Kent Davis. If he's still in there, go ahead and wish him a congratulations, because Beyond Sight and Sound had closed out their contest for the XP Waterproof Kit giveaway. And we announced the winner on the show tonight, and then shortly after the show, it'll be posted over on the Beyond Sight and Sound page, but Kent Davis won that. So congratulations to him on his win.
Congratulations.
For everyone else...
And if I could say
go ahead.
Real quick.
Yeah.
First, Barb, I haven't posted the pictures yet of what you sent me. Thank you so much. The boxes were kind of cool. And... since the person who sent me that AT Max is anonymous, I don't know if they're from this group or what forum, but once again, thank you so much for sending me the machine.
Well, see, and that's just it. You never know. That's part of being anonymous, I guess. But definitely a very kind gesture. Definitely. And I'm sure that you were very, very happy with it, very pleased, and hopefully you get out there and you make some good finds with it.
Soon enough.
Right. Well, for everyone else, make sure and check out the World of Tokens group. If you haven't seen a link yet or can't find it, there is a link to the group in the description of the show tonight. If you enjoyed the show, be sure and throw us a like here on Spreaker. Follow us on Facebook, iTunes, all of that. I think we've ran on for a while now, but hopefully everyone did enjoy the show, and we'll see how it goes. We'll be back again with who knows what. Until then, we gotta roll. Have a wonderful evening, folks. We're out of here.